Right, welcome back, listeners, for another edition of Heads Up. And this time last week, we're all looking forward to a good day of racing on the Saturday, and no sign of rain in the forecast. Maybe a little bit coming later on in the day, but come Saturday morning, down it came, just enough to make that track a bit tricky, and we're all nervous about what was going to happen. And later on, we all know what happened. Money Shot, welcome aboard. You were down there. What was the feeling amongst people, and how did you feel yourself about what was going on?
Yeah, clearly disappointed. I think I mentioned on the show last week the amount of effort that was going in. There was a hive of activity on the Friday, marquees being put up, and all the logistics behind a race day where you're expecting a 5,000 or 6,000 person crowd. Yeah. And then it all kind of gets literally washed away with a bit of rain on a track that couldn't handle that little amount of rain. I think that was the problem. If they had a lot of rain, it would have soaked in, but it was just the wrong amount of rain they had. Hey, could have been worse. Could have been postponed or cancelled after one race, and all the hospitality packages hadn't had their lunch served and things like that, so that could have turned into a nightmare. But yeah, very disappointing. But I guess we get a rerun of it next Sunday, the other major races on the meeting, and so they do end up with 13 races over the 2 days instead of their allotted 10. But yeah, disappointing. I think everyone was feeling a bit flat. I don't think anyone was angry at the decision that was made. It was the only logical decision. The jockeys had to make that. Yes, there's lots of post-mortems as to what could have or should have been done prior to the day. But yeah, 2 weeks ago the club were berated for perhaps excessively watering, yet that turned out to be the right decision. Because that's what happens if you don't. If a little bit of rain occurs on a hardish track. So the forecast changed. It was just one of those things, Neil. At the end of the day, no one died. Everyone lived to fight another day. So you just got to grit your teeth and carry on. And I know it's upset a few horses' plans with their campaigns overseas, etc. But that is the luck of the draw at times. The weather's the one thing that we can't control.
But one thing we can control is how we set that track up on race day. Now, come October the 22nd, the long-range forecast is for fine weather, but the forecast for last Saturday was for rain coming in later that day, no sign during the day. Now, what do they do on the 22nd? Do they doctor the pitch to be a dead 6 so if rain does come, even though it may not be forecast, so it doesn't get to that slippery stage? Because we've had 2 meetings now cancelled because of slippery tracks there, so it's prone to slipping. So what do they do? What do they do?
I would expect there will be plenty of watering going on that track, and I'd say you'd be right. It will be a dead 6 come race day morning. That would be my prediction, to make sure that the day goes ahead.
Yep. Because even if I'm forecast was forecast right through until the following Monday or Tuesday, and they got a light couple of showers, you'd still be nervous, wouldn't it? You know?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Anyway. No, it's just turn the page, as they say, but frustrating for everybody. But anyway, we'll see some good horses racing there on the 22nd, hopefully. And anyway, Winx last Saturday. What a win that was, eh? Jesus Christ.
It was unbelievable. Just the ease at which she does it every single time almost. She's just an absolute freak. And yeah, there's not a lot more you can say. I think if someone had have told you, Neil, 15 years ago that there'd be $1.25 favourite in a Cox Plate, they would have thought you were crazy. How could a horse start that short in a Cox Plate? But I think that's probably even overs now, I'd say, $1.25.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is overs probably. And Humidor actually broke Humidor's heart. Crikey, you think he was a rough chance of maybe troubling her down the straight, but never got near. It was under a right on the turn and battled on into a third. And the All Blacks and Box game. I actually, I my-skied the first half, got up and watched that, and watched the second half live. What a neat game of rugby that was. Did you enjoy that?
I did wake up in the middle of the night, and I caught the extended first half, and then watched the second half. Yeah, it was an old-fashioned test match, wasn't it? Full of intensity and passion, and the Box stood up and came close to winning. I never really thought the All Blacks were going to lose, but it was a good game, that's for sure.
Yeah, too right. And now with the All Blacks winning all the time and looking like they're going to win the World Cup, well, were looking like they're going to win the World Cup, at least the Box and maybe one or two other teams are looking like they could trouble them in the World Cup to make it interesting. So, any thoughts on that?
You want me to give a pick 2 years out? No, the All Blacks will win the World Cup again. You just look at the depth. They're building unbelievable depth across just about every single position on the park. All these players are getting exposure to big games in the environment, understanding the systems. Their depth that they've got is unbelievable. The new players seem to have no fear and step up to that test match environment. I think the future is still very bright for New Zealand rugby.
But you look at the NRL, they have a salary caps to try and get the teams pretty even, and it works really well, has worked well for a long time. Are we in danger of killing off new fans coming to the game and watching the game because they're dominating so much?
I think people like, I don't know, I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, it's a bit... The fans, is it going to get boring like the Auckland rugby team of the 80s where they won all the time and the fans turned away? I think besides winning, they're playing the type of rugby that people like to watch. It's fast-paced, it's all about ball movement, scoring tries. I think their brand, I saw a clip when they were in South Africa of a few of the All Blacks appearing at a shopping mall or something, and you thought it was someone like the Beatles or One Direction or Justin Bieber. Such was the fervour of the people there for these so-called rock stars who are just really rugby players at the end of the day. But the All Black brand, it's unbelievable, really.
Yeah, no, fair point. They are good to watch now. I was going off a couple of years ago, but like you say, there's plenty of excitement when they play, and that's what we like to watch.
You could always, if you get bored of teams winning, Neil, you could always go back to supporting the Warriors.
No, those days are gone, well and truly. Back with part 2 in a sec. Yeah, cheeky bugger.
Great day of racing in store on both sides of the Tasman, Neil. Feature meetings at Matamata and Hawera in New Zealand, and of course Caulfield and Randwick in Australia. We'll start on this side of the Tasman. The Matamata Cup headlines the Matamata meeting, and pretty even sort of field. I think you've got one though. You've got one a little bit outside the square perhaps. Who do you like in the Matamata Cup?
Yeah, it's one of those races, one of those horses where when they get in foal, or one of those mares when they get in foal, you know they improve a couple of lengths. And a horse called Eleonora won a Group 3 in Australia. Very good, tough mare, trialled really nicely amongst horses that have won and placed since. And I think with Matt Cameron on at 53.5 kgs, I think Eleonora is a good bet. She was $7.15 to $7 already, and it's a good each way bet. What are you keen on?
Well, she's a class horse. She was, of course, down in Hastings to run in the Open 1400 last weekend. Didn't get to go around there. Now stepping up fresh over 1600. But we know the more distance, the better for her. So I wouldn't laugh at that at all. Wouldn't laugh at that one little bit.
Yeah, just a word of warning though. It's one of those days, isn't it, where you've got horses come in like Charles Rudd, Eleonora, Cote d'Or, all wanting sort of dead and better tracks, and horses like Pecoris and other horses there that want a wetter track. So it's one of those meetings where it's gone from a heavy 10 to a slow 8, and probably I reckon we'll get back to a dead 6 by race day if the fine weather keeps up. So a tricky meeting to have a good punt on. Anyway, carry on, sorry.
Well, I guess perhaps track conditions will play a key part of the outcome of the Ritual Stud Taranaki breeders too. race 7 at Haru. Last year's winner Under the Moonlight contest the race again, but a couple of up-and-comers, or one in particular, Francoletta, looks the hardest to beat for mine. Looks a good Quinella, I would have thought, those two.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said up-and-comer. She is the up-and-comer. She's not proven at this level yet. Especially weight for age, and I think Under the Moonlight won this race by 6 lengths last year, and you have to say she's improved since then, and she has trained on well, and I think from the good draw on a slow 9 track to heavy 10 maybe, she does look the one. I'd take her over Francoletta.
Well, you think back last week we were talking about that race, the Open 1400. Yeah. Francoletta was getting in on the minimum in a handicap. Now, of course, she's effectively on equal weights with some Group 1 performing horses, so she's certainly not as well off at the weight. So, yeah, perhaps 340 is a fraction short for Francoletta.
Yeah, especially if it's a slow 9. If it got back to a slow 7, it would certainly improve her chances, you think, over Under the Moonlight, who's better performers on slow and heavy tracks. But having said that, she raced so they were slow to heavy, weren't they, at Hastings? So, yep.
You're dropping your old friend Aid Memoir after it let you down the other day?
Well, she just had an off day, didn't she? But the thing is, with her, she tries so hard, so I'd forgive her for that run. Lisa Allpress, and I think there's not a lot of pace there, and she could slide over, and I wouldn't be surprised if she kicked and proved hard to run down, but no, Under the Moonlight, for me, it's 360. Yeah, tricky race, though. Yeah.
Well, let's head across the Tasman, where there's a couple of fair races. The Caulfield Stakes with the great Kiwi representation, and the $10 million Everest, the first running of this race. So, plenty to get your teeth into there, Neil.
Sure is. Yeah. No, this is a race I've been waiting for, and a lot of punters have been waiting for, obviously. And the speed looks ideal for Chautauqua to me. He's a horse that we know settles last and relies on a decent tempo, so he can unleash, especially once they get over that rise. If they've been going hard, which they will do, I can see him unleashing and winning this race. The forecast is for between 1 and 5 mils today and also tomorrow, which will slow the track down just nicely for him. And if the inside goes off, which I don't think it will, but you never know on race day. I thought the $6 during the week was really good, and $5.50 is still pretty good value. But you have to be keen on anything you're keen on that race. It's a tough race, but I don't know.
I'm going to stick with the up-and-comer Vega Magic. The draw is a slight concern, but I think it will still be able to find a position. Craig Williams, the master, on board, and I think it'd be much handier than your mate Chautauqua, who to me looks like he's lost a yard of pace. He can't win this race, Neil. You're dreaming if you think he can win.
He just had two trials. The horse looks terrific. Third up.
He cannot win. He cannot win the race.
I reckon he will win. I can feel a chocolate fish or two coming on here.
Oh, absolutely. It's like taking wheat off a blind chook, mate.
Okay,
Vega Magic v Chautauqua.
Vega be caught 3 wide, I'll tell you now, because Hootson will kick out, and she's not that fast out lately, and I think she'll kick out. Deploy will go forward, Redzel will go forward, and Vega Magic, they'll probably keep him out, and you're going to be stuck 3 wide. Sorry, Craig Williams and Money Shot. You're going to be cursing those inside runners coming to the turn. Anyway, Chautauqua for me, Vega Magic, just 1 chocolate fish. We'll keep it nice and tidy.
No, fair enough. Well, I look forward to that race. Set to go at 6:15 tomorrow night.
Yeah, looking forward to that, all right. Okay, back with part 3 with the sports preview in a sec. Okay, last week, Money Shot, you kicked off a really victorious game in the Naki. We know you're a big fan of the Naki, the Taranaki team, rugby team. So how did you feel with at half-time maybe last Friday night?
Well, half-time they showed signs that they could perhaps get back into the game. 20 minutes in, when it was 24-0, I must admit I kind of thought, why am I watching this? This is a waste of time. But no, the second half, it was absolute sublime rugby. Very, very enjoyable 40 minutes of my life, Neil, it'd be fair to say. Great to see the Shield and well received in the province, and obviously a good win midweek too to lock it up for the summer. But the Naki play their final game of the round robin part on Sunday against North Harbour, and they've secured top spot. Now, I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist to work out that the Naki will field a very, very understrength side on Sunday against North Harbour. I would expect very few of their key players to even line up, even in the reserves. Don't be surprised if you see 2 or 3 development squad players even starting. So the Naki will be in. I don't think this game is of terrible importance. They were just preparing for their semi-final, and yet North Harbour probably won't have anything to play for either. If Canterbury beat Auckland, they will secure the second spot in a home semi. But I think North Harbour still will be wanting to work on combinations. They were a bit off the boil last week against Waikato, so I expect them to still field a moderately strong side. They might rest a few players, but they will cover the 4.5 start. The TAB have put out option 2303. They've only put out 2 options as we speak at 3 o'clock on Friday. I think when the teams are named, that point start will go out to 10, 11, 12.5. So climb on now. North Harbour minus 4.5 at $1.82. Absolute gift. Get on. Naki will not stay within 4 points of North Harbour at home in front of their fans. I think Harbour win this game and win it easy. But I do think Taranaki can still win the competition when they field their number 1 side again in the semi and the final at home. And $3 is a good value bet. I think it was $4.25 immediately after they beat in Canterbury, which again seemed crazy, but it's now $3 to win the overall premiership. But get on North Harbour on Sunday, minus 4.5. Neil, I cannot emphasise what a good bet that is.
Right, yeah, no, that sounds really good, and I've never heard you so confident of a bet, so I'll be on that.
Especially against my own team.
That's dead right. Yep. Yeah, strange one. Okay, back with part 4 in a sec with the brickbats and bouquets and the multi-question for the week.
Time for part 4 now, where we give out our bouquets. If there are any brickbats, we give away some money in our multi-comp. And just a final wrap-up. I think, Neil, we're both in good moods this week, and we've got only bouquets to give out.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I saw on TV1 this morning the Melbourne or the Spring campaign ad for joining up to the TAB. It looked really good too, I thought. They captured the atmosphere of riding out a winner and people enjoying a good win. And the promo ad was there. I thought it was pretty good, so it's good to see. We need new customers, and that's the way we'll get them this time of year. Another bouquet to Racing Victoria for getting all the sectionals done. I know daily sectionals do them for them. Of all the sectionals of all the Victorian meetings, midweek and Saturdays as well. And they're up that day, later that day, which is terrific. So with all the good tracks over there and good horses, especially over the next month or so, we get all the information there. So that's really good to see. So, and have you got any bouquets?
Yeah, I thought the trackside coverage of last Saturday's meeting at Hastings was first class.
It was. Yeah.
When the big meetings are up, they do a great job covering those from all different aspects. And I don't know if you caught the one news during the week, Neil, there was a bit of an article on Andrew Forsman, and as in the lead up to the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups and the live chances that the Baker Forsman stable has, and just gave a bit of a background how he's gone from being a trackside cameraman to a leading trainer. So that was a good article in mainstream media. Guy Havelt, I think, was the gentleman behind that, and I actually didn't see it live, but I saw it was based via Twitter. If you follow a man on Twitter by the name of Mark Knoll, Nowell, local Cambridge-based gentleman who does a lot of interviews. Usually on a Thursday, you'll have Marsh, James, Forsman going through their runners for the weekend, all videoed. So if you haven't yet followed Mark Knoll on Twitter, I suggest you do, because he posts some good stuff.
Oh, that's good to hear. Actually, I'll put it up on the website, and people can link to it from there. So that's good to hear. Good information, and sort of thing the TAB and the racing should be doing anyway. But good on you, Mark. We'll give you a plug each week. So, no, thanks for that. Anything else?
Any other bouquets? Or
No?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
No.
We better give away our multi-question, or a multi-prize. You need to answer this question. This is one of my old favourites. This question, Egmont Cup's been run tomorrow. We want to know the horse who won the Egmont Cup a few haircuts ago, more than a few years ago now, won the Egmont Cup, and then at his very next start, won the Melbourne Cup. Shouldn't have to think too hard if you're a true blue New Zealander.
You're too right.
You should know the answer to this one.
No, text me on 027 352 6402 or formpro@formpro.co.nz by 9 p.m. tonight, and if you're correct, you go in the draw, because I'm sure there'll be more than one. You'll go into the draw, and my wife will draw out a lucky name to get a $20 multi-bet on tomorrow's races. Nothing much else to mention. We've got the Form Pro ratings free on the Monday, get very popular, get a lot of hits on that day, big hits actually, so it's proving really popular. And nothing else you want to mention before we sign off?
How was your walk on Saturday morning?
It was good till I got to the 7k mark and got a dirty great big bloody blister and struggled through.
Dear.
But I had a mate who was, the 3k's to go was 3 lampposts in front of me, so I thought, I'm going to get you. So blisters and all, I caught him up with about 10 metres to go when we finished together, so it was good fun. Yeah, but
Nothing like a bit of determination to fight through pain.
Yeah, no, it was good fun. I'm going to do more than mine, Jordan, so good fun. And everybody, make sure you watch the Chautauqua give Vega Magic Windburn in the last 15 metres on Saturday, about 6:15. Catch you next week. Vega.